If you've ever searched how to start a YouTube channel and immediately felt like you were being recruited into a pyramid scheme, congratulations, you have functioning instincts. Because within 5 seconds, YouTube will serve you a guy who looks like he hasn't slept since 2016, standing next to a rented supercar, explaining that anyone can make it as long as you find a niche so specific it sounds like a medical condition, or post daily, never miss an upload, master the algorithm, build a funnel, launch a course, sacrifice your personality in exchange for B-roll of you typing aggressively. Everybody does that. If you don't succeed, don't worry. They'll explain that it's not the system, it's your mindset, which is comforting because apparently the problem's always you. This video is not that. This is not how I got 10,000 subscribers in 30 days, because I didn't. It's not the secret YouTube doesn't want you to know, because there isn't one. Or do this, or the algorithm's going to punish you. The algorithm doesn't care. It's just trying to drive content to make money for YouTube. It's basic economics. This is how normal people actually start creating content without pretending that they're experts, or without becoming insufferable, and without waiting 10 years for permission to start. Most people like to say that they'd want to start YouTube. What they actually want is the outcome, not the process. They want the confidence that they see from other creators, the clarity, the audience, the validation. But they don't want to go through the awkward phase, the 0 views phase. I'm kind of in that right now. It sucks. The self-doubt, the why did I say it like that moment at 2 a.m., second guessing everything you worked on all day. So instead of starting, they just prepare endlessly. I was the epitome of that. I did for years. They research, they optimize, they get ready. That preparation feels, I guess, productive. It kind of feels responsible. It feels like you're doing something, even though you're really not. But here's the truth that most people won't admit. They're not afraid of failing. They're afraid of trying honestly and discovering that they're average at first. Nobody likes that feeling. And YouTube is very unforgiving about reminding you that nobody starts good. You don't need better gear. You need better honesty, better authenticity. But for the sake of argument, this is a how to get involved in YouTube video. Let's talk about gear. This is kind of where procrastination hides best for a lot of people. You know, I want that camera. I know you want that camera. I know you've watched the reviews. I know you've probably told yourself, once I have that, I'll take this seriously. But here's the part people hate hearing. If your content isn't interesting on a phone, it won't magically become interesting on a cinema camera. And yes, I'm shooting on a cinema camera. No, that's not hypocritical, I hope. I am a professional content creator and a marketing director. For all the camera bros, I'm shooting on a Sony FX2. Hate on the FX2 all you want. I love it, and I didn't have to spend the money on an FX3. Gear does not create clarity. It does not give you confidence. It certainly doesn't give you any substance. It just documents what's already there. And if what's already there is hesitation or rambling and no point, congratulations, you just filmed it in 4K or 8K. Why you'd want those file sizes? Start with what you have. Upgrade later after you've proven you'll show up. Some of the biggest channels I've seen on here are, heck, a couple of them are just older dudes that are recording on their phone, standing outside explaining basic life stuff, and they're phenomenal. Yes, I shoot on a professional cinema camera with lighting. It's part of my job. I enjoy the setup process, but I'm probably going to have more, vlog style videos and probably some stuff recorded on my phone or my Pocket 3. We'll play around with things. None of that matters. Start with what you have. You can always improve your gear later. It should never be the reason not to start. Because honestly, the most expensive gear setup in the world is completely useless if it becomes a monument to someday, or if that's your whole identity. And I know we've all seen channels like that where it is cinematic, the lighting is perfect, it is quality, and their content's just garbage. And don't get me wrong, I love a video with some good B-roll and They well thought out all these shot lists and cool locations and all that stuff. It looks great, but if the content is just boring, I'm going to click off it and I'll go to a talking head person that is interesting every day. Maybe that's just me. Next is confidence is a result. It's not a requirement. And that's probably one of the things that kept me from doing it for the longest time. People love to say, I just need to get more confident first. I need to practice. I need to think about it. No, you don't. Confidence doesn't arrive before the action. It shows up after you've done repetition. Confidence is your brain slowly realizing, oh, hey, I didn't die. Or look, no one actually laughed at me. It's the internet. They're not laughing at you in your room. Post it and then don't worry about them. It is survivable. The people who look calm on camera, they earn that calm by being uncomfortable repeatedly. You don't have to do it in one take. You can learn to have cuts. I literally just cut because I sneezed like 15 times. Don't skip the awkward phase. You pay your dues there. And yes, you will cringe. That's not some bug. That's the system working. That's how it works. You will a lot early on. Just get used to it and post it anyways. Next, stop looking for a niche. Pick a lane and stay in it long enough. Niche is one of the most overused words, I think, on YouTube. I honestly can't stand it at this point. It makes people feel like if they choose wrong, they'll ruin their entire future. You don't need a niche. You need a lane. A lane is just, what does this channel feel like? What do people expect when they click? That's it. You can refine it later. You can tighten it. You can specialize later. Yeah, maybe you'll lose some subscribers. Maybe you'll gain more for whatever the new topic you're covering. That's fine. It's your channel. Do what you want. But early on, I think the goal is clarity, not perfection. Most people don't fail because they picked the wrong niche. Some of the most successful creators are in some bizarre niches. But they fail because they never stayed anywhere long enough to actually learn or teach YouTube what kind of viewer they're looking for. Next is to remind yourself that your first videos are practice. They're not a performance. Your early videos exist for one reason, to teach you how to do this. They're not there to appease the algorithm gods. They're not there for sponsors, and they're not there for legacy. They're just reps. You're learning. How long does it take you to actually talk through a script? How long does it take when you go off script and just ramble? How do you naturally explain things? Where do you ramble? Where are you clear? What topics energize you? Here's the quiet gift. No one's watching yet. That's not an insult. That's freedom. Use it. I can only imagine the pressure some of these top guys and girls have that they know every time they post there's going to be hundreds of thousands, if not millions. I can't imagine you feel like you have to perform. I don't even, my videos are like 10 to 20 views right now. Like, I'm not worried about if I don't make those people happy. I'm trying to, but I'm not going to beat myself up about it. Another issue that I see and that I've gone through personally is what to talk about when you don't want to lie about being an expert. I've kind of fallen into the self-help genre. Not that I even chose that's where I was going. That's just been something that's always interested me. My wife and I talk about it a lot. You know, when I was especially younger, I was the shoulder for everybody to cry on. I was the one that people came to just chat with, probably because I was just calm and cool and collected, to use that cliche. But I always was. I was I would hope, just good friend and someone that people could rely on. I'm not an expert. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a counselor, but I've tried a lot. I've done a lot of my own counseling, my own self-help journeys, and that's the kind of stuff that I enjoy talking about, as well as I'm motivated by the amount of garbage that I see in the self-help world, over the top stuff and trying to get people to be something they're not. That stuff drives me nuts. So that's part of what drove me into this lane. But I think I convinced myself before I hit record on my first video, but it kind of came after doing a few, when I realized I enjoyed talking about this kind of stuff, that you don't need to pretend you have it all figured out. In fact, don't. I mean, that's That's lying. And everybody hates people that are like, I'm the expert. This is the fact. And it's not true. Just talk about, what are you learning? What are you building? What are you struggling with? What do you wish somebody had told you earlier? People don't tend to follow perfection. They follow coherence. They follow what's relatable to them. They follow someone who sounds like a human being and not a marketing brochure with vocal cords. And another thing I'm kind of learning now as I'm getting into my rhythm is consistency is about trust, not volume. Posting every day is not discipline. It's usually panic. Consistency means people trust that you'll return, that you're not going to disappear on them, that your tone's not going to whiplash back and forth. You're not reinventing yourself with every upload. One video a week done calmly and with some forethought beats daily uploads done resentfully or angrily. I think burnout probably ends more channels than bad ideas ever did. So just keep going. Whatever it's about, just keep going and be true to who you are when you started. Probably my biggest struggle, just the, I guess, fear of getting on camera, was learning what to focus on. Talk to one person, not the void. Like you're talking to your wife or your best friend or some stranger. It doesn't matter. But don't pretend like you're just talking to an empty room, because I am just sitting here talking to an empty room. And Kevin, that's Kevin. If you feel stiff and robotic or unnatural on camera, here's why. You're performing. Go watch my first couple videos. I was super performing. I couldn't. It's terrible. Just instead imagine you're one person in a room, your buddy, your friend, your wife, whatever, and talk to them. You don't have to maintain eye contact with the lens at all times. It's not that serious. That's when you'll loosen up, I think. That's when your cadence can smooth out and your voice sounds a little more like you and less like a robot. People don't want to be impressed. They want to feel understood. I found that to be true just by digging into my own watch history, because I watch a lot of YouTube. That's kind of been, I'm a millennial. That's what we watch. And I tend to not watch the overly produced, just over the top, cinematic, super scripted, almost like a movie type videos. I like the ones where people just talk about life, podcast style a lot of the time. I find that way more relatable, and I don't need a bunch of cuts and funny stuff. And I shouldn't say funny, forced funny stuff. Just be you and talk. You're not trying to impress anybody. I think that's way more relatable. And yes, you will cringe. And no, I don't think that's ever going to go away. You will probably hate your voice. I didn't realize my voice was as monotone and deep as it is, which is weird because I was an air traffic controller for 12 years and I talked into a microphone for my job. But I never realized that's what I sounded like. You will hate your pauses. You will hate your face. This is universal. Your brain's not wired to watch itself. That discomfort will probably fade, I think, with some exposure, but time will tell. But the people who quit because of cringe, they never find out how good they could have gotten if they just put in the work. And I think that's probably sad because we miss out on some really good stuff. My next bit of advice for someone who's early on in this journey is post it anyways. This is the entire game. I think this is the real divider. Creators post anyway. Not because they're confident, not because they think it's perfect, but because momentum only exists after action. I've said that multiple times. You don't think your way into consistency. You act your way into it. So do it. Post it. Don't sit there sweating for hours and hours and hours about the edit and this and that. Make it look the best you can around your life, around your schedule, and post. So where does that leave us? How do we close this out? I don't think most people fail at YouTube. I think they never allow themselves enough attempts to succeed. You don't need permission from somebody. You don't need that confidence. You don't even need to be special. Most of my favorite YouTubers aren't special. They're just normal people who hit record and posted it. You need reps. You need patience. And you need to tolerate being imperfect in public for a while and not caring. That's the deal. And I think if you can accept that, you're already ahead of most people who will keep researching forever. Keep it simple, keep it honest, and keep your mind forward. That's it.